Welcome to Loving Beyond the I Do podcast. This power couple is building stronger marriages one day at a time, talking about real issues on love, relationships, and marriage longevity. Let's break down the barriers and engage in healthy conversation with your hosts, Jason and Tina Marie. Take a seat and buckle up because things are about to get real.
Hey, welcome to the show.
Welcome back, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Loving Beyond the I Do podcast. Welcome to another episode of Loving Beyond the I Do podcast.
With your hosts, Jason and Tina Marie.
That is me.
Hey, welcome back. There's another episode of Loving Beyond the I Do podcast where we teach you how to take your marriages and relationships off of cruise control.
That's right. So we are getting back into the driver's seats of our marriage. So Jason and I have been really busy.
Really
as of
busy,
late. Well,
right.
We're always busy.
Right.
But as of late, we've been more back to the busy
Grind.
post-COVID.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Or pre-COVID.
Pre-COVID.
Right. So we were
This is
extremely-
post-COVID.
Right. So we
Yes.
were extremely busy pre-COVID and we were like always here, always there, and we had gotten used to that. And so now we're kind of these past couple of weeks or even the past month has really been a lot of things going on. And so during that time, even though we're always with each other, you know, we felt a little disconnect because sometimes you can get caught in the monotony of things, right?
Right. Life in general, you know, just being busy and just kind of going through the motions. And that's what we kind of felt like we were doing. Hey, we need a reset. You know, we're doing okay, but something's missing. We're missing a step there somewhere.
Or sometimes there's so much required of you that you forget about the other person. So it's not that, you know, like I said, everything we've done has been together, but sometimes that coreness or togetherness, or the tiredness takes a toll on your relationship. So, you know, we may have found ourselves getting upset over things that really wasn't even about us. It's just being tired, just kind of being, you know, pulled in so many directions, or not even, or just kind of just. I think it's just the tiredness.
I think it's just life, just kind of just getting in the way. You know, we won't necessarily have the time that we need to have for each other, that quality time that we need to sit down and spend. We'll call, you know, we're tired. We'll catch up on this later. You know, let's just go to bed and kind of catch up on our rest. But, you know, you can never really catch up on rest. So then one day turns into the next and so on and so forth. And then when you see that, then you need to do a readjust and you say, hey, listen, it's been too many days.
When you find yourself, as we said, putting your marriage on cruise control. Right?
Exactly.
So this is what we always do. You know, I need to be here. You need to be there. We need to be here. And then kind of letting the relationship just kind of drift in the current without really realizing that. So we decided that we would dedicate this episode to
getting back into the driver's seat.
which
is 3 steps to
3 ways.
3 ways of reconnecting, because I think we need to reconnect.
Right. So we said, so for those couples out there that maybe looking to reconnect, right? So this is a time, anytime is a good time.
Right.
But
But you know when you need to reconnect too. You just have to take evaluation. And this is the most important part here, is we took an evaluation. We knew that we were kind of out of sync, out of step. And it's time to reconnect. It wasn't anything major, but we just knew that.
But you have to catch it early.
But you do have to catch it early, right?
And you don't want your marriage. And so often, you know, a few of our clients have said, you know, well, things get boring, they get dull, and the reason they do is because of that. We drift on that ocean of, you know, marriage.
Wherever. Cruise control. We just going.
Control.
Right.
And so you're not really driving it. You're not really intentional. You're not really paying attention. So you're just kind of, marriage is just kind of happening. And so part of our podcast is to make sure that we're in the driver's seat.
Yep.
Like we are intentional in our marriage. And so it's like, okay, I don't feel as close, or I don't feel like we're on sync, or I don't feel like we're in alignment. And sometimes, because, in the past we didn't talk about marriage, right? So sometimes it happens in marriages and it's 10 years, 7 years, 20 years, and
Right.
you find out that you're really not connected. So you have to be intentional and make sure that when life gets in the way, whether it's having a baby, whether it's planning a graduation,
Or a
whether it's
new
your
job,
child, or whatever it
or
is,
whatever,
right?
working long hours.
Yeah, taking care, of a sick relative or your parents,
Hmm.
just not really connecting like you used to. Being able to say, hey, you know what? Let's do something where we can reconnect with each other. Let's make sure that at the in the midst of everything that you and I are going to always be on the same page.
And that's how you put your relationship first. Just understand, hey, it's not anything wrong, like I said, but we're just not clicking on all cylinders, and we need to be able to do that. And a reevaluation.
And it can just snowball.
Right.
It can continue
So
to
you
be on
catch
that
it,
cruise
while it's a
right.
little molehill. You catch it now before it gets out of hand, and you guys are arguing over
Whatever.
whatever.
And it's not even about the whatever.
Exactly.
Because I know when your body gets tired, your mind gets tired, and you're just like,
Right, you're just physically tired sometimes.
I just don't feel like it,
Right.
or
I don't
you're
want to
just-
cuddle. I just want to kind of like lay
or
here
you're
for
not
a
even
minute.
thinking about it. You
Right.
just go do what you go to bed, go whatever,
Right.
So you're just not really connected. You're not really in sync with that other person, and so it could be one person is doing it and they don't realize it. They're just tired. They're worn out, and you're feeling, like, hey, what's going on? One partner may be like, wow, like I feel unloved or distant or like something's in between us. So that's when it's time to, just sit down and say, hey, you know what? Why don't we reevaluate what's going on? Like I'm feeling some distance here. Let's reconnect. Let's do something to make sure that you and I are in alignment. And so these are just 3 ways. There's plenty of ways,
Right.
but Jason and I just decided to come up with 3 ways that you can reconnect. And there's no better way than now, no better time than now.
Yeah, always reconnected. You're always working on your marriage.
Always. So what's the first way?
The first one is coming up with an engaging way to have
Go ahead.
coming up with an engaging way to have
Date night.
date night. Right. So I mean, it could be now. This is one thing about date night. It's got to be engaging.
It has to be engaging.
So we're not talking about going to dinner and everybody sitting across the table, no one's talking, looking at your phones, things like that. Nope, that's not engaging.
Eat before you do it.
Right.
Or eat after.
Or we're not talking about going to the movies.
No movies. No
movies
movies.
are fine, but it's not engaging.
It's not engaging with each other. So
Right.
we're looking for a date night, something you can do for date night that requires both of you all to be engaging with each other. That's what we mean by engaging.
Yeah.
So if we go to the movies, we're both watching
Watching
the
the movie.
film,
Right.
but we're separate but together.
Right.
So,
It's not a lot of engagement going on.
and even holding hands, sometimes we get used to not holding hands
Mm-hmm.
or, but even if you hold hands, that's not engaging enough. So
Yep.
no movies, no dinner.
Oh.
So some of the things that we would do to get re-engaged, we would play a card game.
Yep.
So Uno.
Yeah, you said Uno. You see, you being nice on the podcast. Now, when we said this, Tina said, yeah, we could play some cards, strip poker. I said, now that's engaging.
Now, if you don't know how to play poker, we can play strip spades.
Yeah, right.
So make your own rules.
Right.
Make sure that the rules are defined in the beginning so there's no arguing. And have fun with it.
Right.
Have fun with it. Like, do something different. And if you have children, then this is a day or the weekend, that night that the children either do a sleepover somewhere or to your sisters, your brothers, your mothers, your aunts, your cousins, someone that you trust, that they can be out of the house the entire night.
Yeah.
Because we don't want the children walking in and you guys are playing strip
Strip
poker. So they're like, what's going on?
Yeah,
So-
that can get interesting.
So, and for those couples who like to have the curtains open, maybe you should draw them this night. So, cards, something that's engaging, something that requires you and me
Yep.
to just interact with each other. So we said some type of cards, right? And the
Yep.
other thing was board games.
Board games is nice. You have to talk, you have to engage, you have to interact with each other. So a board game is nice, as long as it's not challenging. We just and you
Well,
guys
for
are going
those-
there. It
for
could be
those
challenging,
couples
but you
who
can't
like
be too.
intellectually challenging games. Then do that.
Then that would work. But let's
And
not.
it's
We're not gonna
not
get
too
competitive.
competitive. Right,
We're not gonna
right.
be competitive with it.
Right. We want to have fun. And if you're not a board game type of person, but your mate is, then let's try something new, right?
Yeah.
Let's do a board game. Let's try something, even though you may not like games. Let's try something really. Get a kids game. Buy a kids board game, and have fun with it. Hungry Hippo.
Yeah,
Right? Let's get the marbles.
Operation will get you too.
Operation is a really good one. It's not even a
Yeah.
board game.
Right,
Operation is
yeah,
a really good
yeah.
one. And or you can do what was the thing that popped up?
Yeah, the thing that bobs, you got to hit it so many times
Oh
or whatever.
yeah, that was no. But I'm talking about the what was the one with the pieces? Right? You have all these pieces. The name is right there. So I'm sure you guys are going to tell me on Friday. So perfection.
Perfection.
It
Yes,
has like
that'll do it.
24 pieces, and
And you're
you know,
doing
you
it.
try to do it against
And
the
you know what?
clock.
It's a way to cheer your mate on. Build some some
Or you can buy
support.
two.
Yeah.
You can buy two, and you guys each can play, and it's or you like the Operation There's
Jenga is another one. I mean, like
Jenga?
it's
Jenga?
you
Absolutely.
can have a good conversation as you're trying to do that, and you can support one another as you go through trying to remove the pegs.
So it's about engaging with your mate in a different way, right? So
Yeah.
we usually play games with other people. Let's just play games with our mate,
Yeah.
and it doesn't have to be out. But if you want to go out, you can do something like skating.
Oh,
So
yeah.
we talked about skating. So if you don't skate, you can go together to try to learn to skate, right?
right.
Have fun falling together. Or if one person skates and the other person, or you both skate, then when you go skating, you're holding hands. So you're skating as a couple, and then maybe one person can go backwards while the other person is going forward, and then you switch it around. Or you can do the holding and skating. Me and Jason always, before we used to do, little things with our feet and stuff, make us think we're really doing something.
Yeah.
Do skating. And if you do bowling, I don't know, bowling is kind of one of those separate but together things. But
If you're on the same team and you're cheering each other on, I think that's what it is. It's about building support. It's about having somebody in your corner. So if you're doing bowling, it's nothing like a high five after you knock down a bunch of pins, or even if you get a strike, you'd be like, hey, give me a pick me up. Like, hey, don't worry about it, baby. You get it this time or next time. So
maybe you can even invite another couple.
yeah,
Right?
that's always fun.
So if you're going to do bowling, maybe invite another couple so it's couple against
Couple, right.
Right? So you guys are engaging as a team.
And don't do men against women, none of that kind of stuff.
No, it has to
it's
be
couple against couple because
so
you're
me
trying
and
to build.
Jason against somebody and their
Yeah.
wife, right? So we are a team, and the winner is our score against their score.
Right.
Right? So you are there. You're cheering each other on. You're helping. It's not competitive. It's
Right.
fun. We're having fun. So
It's about the support. It's about reconnecting. It's about picking each other up on a strike or a missed ball or whatever. But this is
It's not when your
It's like
mate
it's not a
gets
win or loss
gutter.
type of thing, right?
When your mate gets a gutter, and
we're
then
gonna
you're all
lose, and
bent
it's all
up.
your no.
Right.
We're not
It's
trying to be
not
that. It's about reconnecting. One, having fun. You'll end up hugging each
Having
other.
fun. Have a couple of drinks.
Yeah.
Have a couple of drinks.
Yeah.
Relax. Just enjoy the time being spent not only with your mate,
Right.
but maybe with another couple who needs to reconnect as well.
Yeah, because we
So-
all need to reconnect. Also,
Right.
escape room is good too. I think that's done as a group, but escape room could be nice. You guys have to work together.
You and him.
Yeah,
you and
you'd have to
him, or
work
you and
together.
her.
Yeah.
Right. But again, some people, if you like, intellectual, intriguing things,
Exactly.
escape room. So if not, pick a really easy escape room. Right.
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 You don't want to try it out too hard. You won't get out of there. Then you fussing and.
What
can't-
I always enjoy is bumper cars, or no, the speed.
Yeah.
What is it called when you go?
Yeah,
when you go
race. The buggy cars. There you go.
the fast ones when you go around. So
Yep.
I like that. I think that's fun.
Go kart racing.
Go kart racing.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
or go to an adult. What is the?
Just like
not the Chuck E. Cheese, but it's called
Dave and Buster's or something like that.
Dave and
If you have one,
Buster's.
yeah,
So
the
you and
adult
him
and
do
indoor
an
amusement
adult,
park.
go play some games. Go, So another outdoor thing is basketball, one-on-one basketball, right?
Yeah, you can have fun with
So-
that. Yes. Yeah.
Go if you go outside or go to your neighborhood park, go to your community center, go to a high school or grammar school that has them. Find somewhere, or you can do volleyball.
Yep.
Right. So if you feel as though you and your mate are not connected right now, you just want to do something fun, right?
Right.
But you also want to be, if you're energetic and you can do it, or you can do it slowly, right? Volleyball, right? Go buy a volleyball net or those little birdie things and just play with each other.
Get out of the
right?
house and
Yeah.
just kind of get re-engaged. It's about support. It's about, like I said, about being there, about just being there for each other.
Yeah, or you can just get some skates and skate down the street. So there's
If you want to try that, yeah, yeah. If you
so
want to try that, your skates, especially
yeah.
in the city of Chicago, is kind of rough. So, but you can try that if you want to.
Or you can go downtown on Lakefront and skate. A lot
There
of
you
people
go.
go.
Yeah, on a
Or you,
I would
yeah,
I would say on a trail, or
yeah,
you can bike ride. Although that may not be so engaging.
yeah.
Depends
So
on how you do. Or
bike riding
hiking.
is
I'll say
iffy.
hiking over just biking and cycling.
So you got to be careful. It has to be as again the guidelines and the rules are whatever you do as a couple, make sure that it must be something that engages both of you to work with each other to only be you two. You have to be in some form or shape or fashion doing things with your mate. Right? Hands on is hands on. It's not let's sit back and relax. It's not that. All right? Because we're reconnecting. So that's one way.
Yep.
All right. So the other thing is, if you're not subscribed to our channel already, please go and subscribe to Loving Beyond the I Do podcast or Loving Beyond the I Do, and subscribe so that you know when new episodes come out or when we're on our Friday Night Live.
That's so true.
All right.
All right.
So the other thing, what was the second thing that we said that you can do to reconnect?
Reconnect. It was think about or go back to the past, how you felt about each other when you guys first met. What really excited you about this new relationship and where it was going to go and where you wanted it to develop. Go back to that time. Go back to when you maybe you first met and it's like you were checking me out the whole time. I know you were before you came over and said something. So just kind of go back there and have that conversation about how it was back then, how you really felt.
So
And that is to work on those emotions to get you back into
to connect.
into connecting, because at that time everything was wonderful, everything was just wonderful. You couldn't wait to be around that person. So that's what we want you to get back to. Remember what it was like when you guys first met.
So the guidelines for that one is that it has to be
No comparing to
right,
now.
Right. No comparing is not that well you used to do this and I used to do that.
Now you
So-
don't do this. Yeah. Now
So
we're not going there.
the whole point of it, the rules of engagement for this one, this exercise is that you're talking about things you loved about your mate when you met them. For instance, Jason would say, "Oh, baby, I loved your eyes the first time I saw them." Right? I thought
Which
you
is
had
true.
you had the most beautiful eyes.
I did
and
say
then
that.
I might say something. Well, I thought you were very charming and very what do you call that? Ah,
Charismatic.
no. Like if you lay your coat down for me to walk over a puddle.
Oh
What is
yeah,
that?
yeah. Shivery and
Shivery,
yeah,
yes,
that
right.
was
You
me.
had shivery and stuff like that. So
Yep.
I would tell him something like that. Or I liked, the way you carried yourself, your mannerism and your respect for me as a woman.
Right.
Right. So you would say
And you used to unlock the door for me if I let you in the car first. That was a big thing.
Right, right. I don't know if you guys ever saw that movie with Robert De Niro, right?
Yeah,
It's
if-
like
if
if
the
the
lady-
girl, so if you let her in the car, and then when you run around to your side of the door, if she unlocks it, that lets you know she's
She's a
the
keeper.
One.
Yep.
That's right. So, but the good thing nowadays when you can just push the button, and
And
all the doors
open.
unlock.
Right.
I
It's so
often-
unfair now.
I often tease him about that. I was like, if I could reach over and unlock the door, I would.
I said, well, I appreciate you. At least you thought about it, right? That's the most important
just
thing.
talking about things that, and it has to be 30 minutes or more. It
Yeah.
cannot be, and this has to also be engaging.
Mm.
So this is not sitting side by side. This one has to be face to
To
face.
face.
And so you can touch, you can drink, you can have food, and so you have to have a conversation of, let's talk about, let's reconnect by talking about, things you loved about me when you first met me, or things you loved about me when we started dating, things that you thought about me that were positive, things like that, right? Or talk about a funny story that you guys shared,
Yes.
something that was funny in the past, and even when you talk about it today, it's still funny.
Yeah.
Going down memory lane, right? Let's talk about and laugh about things that were really, really, really funny. So
That is, it's funny. We have a lot of funny stories, but it was just so easy to talk to you when we first met, and it still is. It's just you start, rekindling all of these different feelings, and believe me, you will start to reconnect in a hurry. It will come back to you in no time.
sort of like, do you remember that time? Oh, I have one. So sort of like I could tell Jason if we're talking, hey, you remember that time that you were trying to take me out on a date and impress me, and then your car broke
Broke
down.
down
Your and the car like boom, boom.
on the side of the. Oh yeah.
So and just things
Yes.
like that that now we can laugh about. I mean, we
Yep.
have so many funny stories. We can go on and on and on.
Yeah.
We have a story that even though it involved my sister-in-law, his sister. When I first had my baby, our very first one, we took him to the zoo, and she was so and she was so excited
Yep.
that she was pushing him in the stroller.
Yep.
So she's just like pushing him in the stroller, and I don't know if she was going fast, or
Fast.
she was excited. I don't know, but like
She almost flipped the
she's
baby
10
out the
years
stroller.
older than us, so
Right.
12 years older than me. So it's like she hit a bump and literally almost threw my. He wasn't
Jason.
even a year.
Yep. Uh-huh.
He was in the months.
Yeah, almost
I-
flipped him out of the
I
stroller.
almost flipped like. Oh my God.
We still laugh about that today.
And at that time, we even laughed about it a little bit, but she was just, I don't know. It's a funny story,
Yeah.
and I guess you have to be there. But,
Yeah.
we laugh about it. That she was like, you remember that time I
Almost flipped him out the stroller. Yeah, I remember that. Yes,
So,
I do.
things like that. So find things, and it's just the two of you.
And it takes you out of the monotony of the everyday for right now.
Yeah.
Right? It puts you back into that time when maybe things wasn't as stressful.
And it's just reconnecting. Like, what is it about you that, I remember, what is it that a time when we were connected, when you and I were on the same page in alignment, right? So
Right, yes.
That's what we're trying to do. Trying to do things that we probably don't usually think about that can reconnect us.
Yeah.
Right?
Right. I mean, that's it. It's about reconnecting. So it's about understanding that we're not connecting like we should. And now we're going to try to reconnect. And this is just a couple of ways of doing that. One was engaging date night.
Mm-hmm.
Then the other one is go back down memory lane.
Go back down. But the positive
Right.
parts, right?
I don't want you to say, okay, I don't want you going down memory lane and then coming back into the present and say, well, you used to do this and you don't do this now. You used to do this and you don't do that. No, we're not comparing. We're
not
just
comparing.
going back down
We're
and
not-
we're appreciating the time in the past.
Yes.
So we
A
can
time
really
when-
fully appreciate the time in the present.
Yes. Remembering the things that you love about your mate, because life can get messy. Love can have its highs and lows. And so this is a time for us to say, wow, let's look at each other. Let's talk, let's laugh. Let's get to know each other where we are right now. Like, we're not connected as much, we're not 100% connected, but let's just try to reconnect that the best way we can. So let's start with a conversation. Has to be at least 10 minutes. And I would suggest, if you drink, get a couple of drinks. If you don't drink, then make sure that you have something there that, is refreshing, so you don't have a reason to get up. But I would suggest
yes.
touching, right?
Right.
Touching each other, holding hands. You remember when we did this? Just connecting differently. Try to, if because sometimes touch is the first thing that goes in a relationship.
For sure it is.
And if you haven't connected in a long time, it can be hard to initiate that touch. But I guarantee, if you guys haven't touched in a long time and you touch your mate, they're going to feel something. There's going to be
Yes.
a connection there. And it's probably the longing or realizing that they miss the touch, because touch is truly important. As it says right there, touch is such an important part of a healthy relationship. So if you're not touching me, that means that there's something there that's blocking us. We're not connected.
Right.
All right. So those are some things like that. So our third suggestion for reconnecting and getting back to and this is something you can do once a month. As often
can.
as you
Right.
need, because as I said, work, life, bills, children, in-laws,
Whenever you find
relatives.
out something is just not the way you want it to be,
Or-
you know
or
when
the
that
thing
aura
is that
is.
life gets in the way.
Right.
That was my point.
Right.
Life gets in the way, and it can easily happen. We can easily drift apart. But the thing is that if we are intentional in our marriage, and we are intentional of making our marriage work, and making sure that each one of us can be as happy or back in the driver's seat, right?
Yes.
We're going to make sure that we're doing things that makes me happy and makes you happy, right? So that's what a relationship is.
Right.
Making sure that both of us are fully feeling like we're both loved, appreciated,
And
we're
fulfilled.
both a part of this relationship.
Right. Right. We're both
Right.
being heard. We both feel like we're appreciated. And life is good for us. Yes. Yes.
All right.
I mean, that's the thing, right? We both want to feel like that the relationship is flourishing and we're being a part of it.
And that there's
You
growth.
being heard,
There's a
I'm right.
possibility. You want to feel that, like your water. When a plant is
Yes.
dying a little bit, and you go, oh man, my plant needs some water.
Right.
It's something that you see in that plant that requires you to say it needs some water.
And that's
Same
what you
thing
need
with
to
your
do here.
relationship.
Yep.
My relationship seems like it's dwindling, or it's dying, or
Yeah.
or
It's
on
not
the
setting up as
verge of-
spry as it
right,
should.
right. So this is what we want to do. We want to inject little bits and spurts of water, and so we call that reconnecting. Right, we want to send those electrons and neutrons and protons and all those things connecting back together. Right, all right. So the third thing that we would suggest couples could do to
Really get them
reconnect-
electrons going
Okay. All right.
is a 10-day intimacy challenge.
10 days
Now,
intimacy challenge.
so let's go ahead and explain to them what we're talking about. T.
Okay, so we had a conversation.
Yep.
And we had a podcast, and we had our Friday Night Live that talked about what is intimacy. We even put that out on social media and asked people, what is intimacy, right? So what is intimacy to you? What we realize, and what you should realize, is that intimacy has many definitions. Intimacy to me means something totally different than what it means to Jason
That is true.
and what it means to you, right?
Right.
So
So you have to explain for 10 days, I need to have this as far as intimacy so my intimacy tank can get filled up.
So this requires you and your mate to sit down and say, let's do the 10-day intimacy challenge, right?
But our needs are different.
Exactly. So these are the ground rules.
Mm-hmm. So,
You have to listen,
right.
so you can't. Each mate has to listen.
Okay.
So I'm going to define to Jason what intimacy I need.
Right.
Okay, not what somebody else's intimacy is. I'm going to say to him, intimacy to me, when I say intimacy, I'm going to need X, Y, and Z for the next 10 days, which means that he has to give me, that thing that I feel is intimacy. If I say every day I need for you to hug me for at least 10 seconds and give me a big, fat, juicy kiss for 20 seconds, then that means for 10 days, that's what he's going to have to give me.
Right.
Now,
Then I may say that I need something, whether I want you to hold my hand or when I come in the door, I may want you to
now
hug me.
he's playing nice. Now he's playing nice, right? Right. So he's talking about me a second ago about strip poker. Now he's playing nice.
Right.
Then Jason gets to define what intimacy he wants
Right.
for the next 10 days.
Right. Right. Well, like I said, I could come in, you could give me a hug.
So what would be, let's give it an example, Jason. Let's
Okay.
be real. What would you define as your intimacy for the next 10 days?
Cuddling in bed, having a little intimacy in bed.
Baby, you got to define intimacy. That doesn't work. What does a little intimacy in bed mean? You have
Intercourse. And I'd like to have some sex.
So
Yeah.
you both have to agree to the terms,
Yeah.
right? So
Mhm.
if you're gonna do the 10-day challenge, you
Yeah.
talk and say, hey, I feel like we're a little disconnected.
Right.
How would you like to do a 10-day challenge?
Mm.
They say, well, what's a 10-day intimacy challenge? Well, for 10 days, I define what I need for you to do for me that I require is intimacy, and you tell me what you require for 10 days for intimacy, and you both have to agree. Now, your word is your bond.
Yep.
It's not, okay, I stop. But I guarantee this will definitely reconnect you.
For sure.
Because if I feel like we're disconnected and I'm a little feeling as though the intimacy is off, and I think, is that one back there too? I don't think so.
Mhm.
Okay, so if I feel like the intimacy is off, or I need more intimacy, whatever my definition of intimacy is, if you're gonna give that to me for 10 days,
Mhm.
I am going to feel fulfilled in the intimacy department, which means that now I'm going to feel connect, because intimacy is a part of connecting. It's connecting with your partner in whatever way you define intimacy. There is no right, there is no wrong. I could say that I need you to give me a foot massage every night.
Okay.
That could be intimacy.
Right.
It could just be you touching them. There is no right, there is no wrong. It's you telling your partner what is in, they have to listen what you need for 10 days, and then they tell you
What
what
they
they need
want
for
for
10
10
days.
days.
And so you all have to agree. And once you say okay, it's a pack.
And then
It's a pack, and
it's
the
10
game
days
is on.
Yep.
10 days, 10 days, not 1, 2, 3, I'm tired, let's not do it. No, it's 10 days. So don't go into it
And-
unless you're going to be 100% committed to it,
I know.
because that's what reconnecting is about.
And that's what I was going to say. You got to be committed to the process. So don't be like, okay, man, I got to, I got to give you this foot massage again
Right,
tonight.
right,
Okay, let's go ahead and hurry up and get this thing over with.
Again, this should be done in fun.
And fun. And you have to do it. If it's important to your mate, then you should actually give it to them and give it your all. Give it the best foot massage that you possibly can, because that's what they need. This is what they ask for, right?
And if your mate says 10 days of sex, don't just be like, oh man, all right, come on. Because it's mindset, it's intention. The whole purpose of this is to reconnect, which means that if they're asking for sex, that means they don't feel connected. Whatever. So we need to make sure that whatever is important to your mate is important to you, and that's the whole point of reconnecting. Right? I want to reconnect with you in a way that we are connected, we are aligned, we are back on track.
Yeah.
So we have to be intentional in our marriage and be happy that we can have these conversations and do it in 10 days. So it's the 10-day challenge. All right?
So you can turn your whole thing around in 10 days. I say it won't even take 10 days. I can tell you that.
No, I don't
Once
think so.
you start down this road, especially if you do a date night, I mean, right there, that's going to jumpstart you. Or if you have a night where you're just rekindling your emotions due to your past, that's going to bring it forth right there. So that's going to put you right back. That's like a springboard. You start talking about all these happy times and the feelings and the emotions, and everything comes right back to you. And then if you go right into the 10-day, it's not going to take you 10 days.
So are they supposed to do all three? I thought that you could just do one.
You could pick one. You can pick one. But I'm just saying, if you want a springboard, I say you talk about the past. That's a springboard right into the 10-day.
Or you do,
Or
you
if
do
you
the
have a-
pass first, and then you go do some games, and then you go into the 10-day. Or you could just pick one, and that can be a start.
There you go. However, we know
There
we
is
gave
no
you a
right,
whole
there is no
smorgasbord of things
wrong.
to go on right here.
Right.
So these are plenty of ideas that we know they work because we've gone through them, and we know that if you do them, it will rekindle your relationship.
And as we said, there are tons and tons more.
Yeah.
But let's start small, and let's start with the intention of having fun, right? You want to be able to reconnect with your mate. You want to have fun. So let's make it all fun, right? And then we only ask that if you actually do any of these, that you give us some feedback, right? Let us know what happened. Let us know what's going on. Let us know how it worked for you, because it works if you work it.
100%.
The wise words of the Dr. Reverend Johnny Coleman. So it works if you work it. But if you don't work it, if you go in half-assing it, then it's not going to work.
Right.
So you have to be able to put 120% in of yourself and hope that your mate, and make sure that your mate is giving 120%, because if I'm all in, he's all in. If he's all in, I'm all in. And that's what it's about. The importance of, is our marriage important to us? Let's find something that we both enjoy, that it's engaging, that we both can have fun doing, and let's just do it in fun. Let's just have fun with it. It's not a chore. It's not a detriment. It's not I have to. It's, you know what? Hey, things we're not connected, or I feel a little drifted or things, but let's try to do something a little different. Like we said, breaking up the monotony. Sometimes life can get in the way, and if we're not careful or intentional in our marriage, we won't even see it. We won't even
Right.
realize it.
Too much time will get between you, and then before you look up, you're like, I don't even know how
Like,
we got
what
here.
happened? What
Right.
happened?
Right. We were
So-
doing fine, so you want to make sure. So what you want to do is just hit us on DM on at Legendary Relationship on Instagram or Facebook. So then that way we can, just let us know how you're doing with the challenge or any of these different tips that you have here for reconnecting, and let us know how it's working out for you.
Or if you used your own and
yeah.
something that worked for you.
Yeah.
You can always give us suggestions. Now, remember, we're going to see you guys Friday Night Live.
So
right?
don't forget,
So we want you to come.
this Friday, go ahead.
So we want you to come and let us know how it went, or we want you to come and tell us what you did and how it worked, and give some suggestions to other couples, right? So be ready to talk, because we are going to be ready to listen. It's going to be fabulous. So make sure that you guys are tuning in and that you are on the channel every Friday
At 6 p.m. Central Time. So if you don't know what we're talking about, that means that
you haven't been tuned in.
you haven't been tuned in. So go over
You're
there.
not in the know.
Go over there and like our page at Legendary Relationship on Facebook with Tina and Jason Scott. And check us out.
It's
Yeah.
Jason and Tina Scott.
Oh, yes, Jason and Tina Scott. Yep. And then, you'll see the post for us on Friday nights at 6 p.m. on Central Time. Come and be engaging with us and let us know if you tried any of these and if it worked. And if you tried something different, let us know. We can have a conversation. We're doing it live, so come and join us.
And if you like our page on Facebook, you will get a notification that we are going live. Legendary Relationship is going live, right?
That's
so
right.
Legendary Relationship on Facebook and Instagram, and the name of our podcast is Loving Beyond the I Do podcast. So we will see you guys on Friday. Make sure you are on your Friday Night Live with us at 6 o'clock p.m. Central. Right? And if the time changes, we will let you know. But we want you guys to be present, engaging, and let us know what is and is not working in your relationship. Because like I said, there's thousands of tools and techniques out there that other people use. And we want you to share with us some of the things that have helped you reconnect with your mate.
That's all we're about. We're about reconnecting, getting back in the driver's seat, and just taking our relationships where we want them to go.
Yes. So I think that wraps up another episode. So if you find your relationship a little distant,
Just
or
a little
something's going on, right? So you want to make sure that you can reconnect. So these are just 3 ways that you can reconnect with your mate today. All right? So I think that wraps it up for another episode. What do you think?
I think so.
All right. So as always,
we're in it to win it.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Lovin' Beyond the I Do podcast. Head over to iTunes to subscribe and leave a review. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Legendary Relationship, or visit our website at legendaryrelationship.com. Till next time, remember to make every day count.